I can't do this anymore, she said, her voice too calm, like she'd rehearsed it 100 times. What do you mean? I asked, clutching her hand. I thought we were happy. Mia pulled her hand away, her nails grazing my skin. Happy? You're sweet, but I can't pretend anymore. You're too poor. I froze. Too poor. I repeated, my voice shaking. Is that it? Is that the reason? She looked away, biting her lip. I deserve better. Someone who can give me the life I want. Better? I laughed bitterly, though tears were already stinging my eyes. Better? I love you, Mia. I've loved you for years. Does money mean more than my heart? She didn't answer. She just smiled, smug, untouchable. I guess it does. I felt the ground shift under me, though we were still on the same sidewalk. So, that's it? You're just walking away? After everything? Mia shrugged, tossing her hair over her shoulder. I've made my choice. Goodbye. Goodbye. I repeated, stunned. Do you even realize what you're doing? What you're destroying? She shook her head, her eyes cold. I'm doing what's best for me. You should try it sometime. I wanted to scream, to beg, to hit her for how easily she discarded everything we had. But no sound came out. I just stood there, watching her walk down the street, heels clicking against the pavement, every step a stab to my chest. Later that night, Alex came over. Man. I heard, he said softly, sitting beside me on the worn couch. I can't believe she said that. That she left me, for money, I whispered. My hands trembled as I rubbed my face. Alex shook his head. I knew she was trouble, dude. But, you loved her. And that's why it hurts so much. I loved her more than anything, I admitted, my voice cracking. I thought she was different. I thought she cared. She did, in her own way, Alex said carefully. But some people, they only care about what they want. And right now, that's not you. I looked at him, tears finally falling. Do you think I could ever get over this? Alex shrugged. You'll get through it. You're stronger than you think. Maybe this is just the start of something else for you. Something else? I asked, bitterly. What could be worse than losing the person I loved most? Alex leaned back, sighing. It's not worse. It's just different. You've got a choice now. Let it break you, or rise above it. I laughed, a short, humorless sound. Rise above it, easier said than done. Not if you plan it right, he said, smirking faintly. You've got brains, guts, and fire. Don't waste it crying over someone who didn't deserve you. I swallowed hard, thinking about Mia's smile, her eyes, the way she turned her back on me without a second thought. Fire, huh? Maybe you're right. Maybe I will rise above her. I don't know how yet. You will, Alex said firmly. Just, don't lose yourself while you figure it out. Promise me that. I promise, I said, though I wasn't sure if I meant it yet. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Her words echoed over and over, too poor, too weak, not enough. My chest ached, my mind spun, but somewhere deep inside, a spark ignited. A small, stubborn flame of determination. If she thought money or status could define my worth, she was about to learn how wrong she was. And I swore, right there, in the darkness of my room, that one day I'd rise above her cruelty. Morning, genius, Alex greeted me, plopping down across from me at the tiny coffee shop. Morning, I mumbled, stirring my coffee without looking up. You look like hell, he said, smirking. Still crying over Princess Mia? I laughed, bitter. No. I'm tired. Life doesn't stop just because someone decides I'm too poor for them. Alex leaned back, crossing his arms. You've changed, you know. Harder. Smarter. But, lonelier too, maybe. I met his gaze, sighing. Maybe. But I'm surviving. Isn't that the point? Surviving isn't enough, he said. You've got fire in you. Don't waste it just surviving. Build, grow, prove her wrong. I wanted to argue, but I knew he was right. I had spent nights poring over textbooks, working extra shifts, and teaching myself skills I never had before. My apartment was tiny, my salary modest, but I was building something, my own life, on my own terms. Later that week, at the office, Claire slid a stack of papers across my desk. You've been avoiding these deadlines, she said, her tone teasing but sharp. I've been busy, I muttered, rubbing my temples. Claire leaned closer, eyes bright. Busy surviving, or busy thinking about someone else? I froze. Excuse me. She smiled knowingly. Don't try to lie. I see it in your face. Heartbreak leaves marks. I scowled. That's personal. Not if you want to be good at your job, she said, tapping a pen against the papers. Focus. Channel that emotion. Her words hit harder than I expected. She wasn't teasing just to be mean, she saw me, the raw, unguarded me, and wasn't afraid to call it out. Later, in the break room, Alex cornered me again. So. Claire. What's the deal? She's sharp, I admitted, reluctantly. And she doesn't let me hide. She challenges me. Alex grinned. Sounds like someone finally sees the real you. Not like Mia ever did. Yeah, I said, swallowing hard. Mia, she never cared. All she saw was what I didn't have. Alex's voice softened. And now? Now. I'm starting to care about what I do have. And what I can build. I paused, staring at my hands. Every time I think about her, it stings. But, it also reminds me that I need to rise above. Not for her, for me. You're serious about this revenge thing, huh? Alex asked. I don't call it revenge, I said, shaking my head. It's proving I'm not defined by someone else's standards. If she thinks money and status matter more than me, I'll show her I'm more than enough without even needing her validation. Alex chuckled. Classic you. Always thinking 10 steps ahead. Over the next few weeks, I threw myself into projects at work, stayed late at the library, and kept learning skills that would make me stronger. Claire often sat with me, teasing, pushing, challenging. You need to stop staring at that screen like it owes you something, she said one evening. It kind of does, I muttered. I need to get this right. Life doesn't owe you anything, she shot back, smiling. But that doesn't mean you can't take what you want. I stared at her, struck by the simplicity of her words. She was right. I could build my life without Mia. I could take control, carve out success from nothing, and make her regrets irrelevant. Later that night, Alex called. How's my favorite self-made genius? Tired, I said honestly. But, hopeful. Good, he said. Because hope's where fire starts. Keep that flame alive, okay? I will, I promised, though inside, I was planning more than just hope. Every class I took, every extra hour at work, every small win, it was all part of something bigger. Not just for me, but for the memory of being underestimated, discarded, and underestimated again. Mia's voice still haunted me sometimes, but now, it fueled me. Every time I thought of her smug smile, I reminded myself, she made a mistake. And I would rise above her, not with anger, but with proof. Proof that I could survive, thrive, and become someone she could never ignore. And maybe, just maybe, she'd finally understand what she lost. Hey, someone nudged me at the party, and I turned to see a guy leaning against the balcony railing. You're Mark, right? I blinked. Yeah. And you are? Ethan, he said, smirking faintly. Ethan Hale. You know Mia, I assume. My stomach dropped. You're her brother. He nodded, eyes scanning the crowd like he was measuring everyone's worth. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not here to bother you. I didn't expect to see you, I admitted. At all. Ethan laughed softly. Life's full of surprises. But I've been watching Mia for a while. I frowned. Watching her? Why? Curiosity, he said, shrugging. And frustration. She's complicated. Complicated? I repeated, my voice sharper than I intended. She left me because I'm poor. Do you think that's complicated? His gaze softened for a moment. I get it. You think she's innocent, sweet, perfect, but she's not. She hides things to protect her status. Things that could ruin her if they ever got out. I felt my pulse quicken. What do you mean? He glanced around, lowering his voice. Mia isn't exactly the person she shows the world. She manipulates, lies, all to keep the people around her in check. Some of it small, some of it bigger. Dangerous, if revealed. I leaned closer. Are you serious? You're saying, everything she's done, everything she said, it's all a performance? Mostly, he admitted, sipping his drink. She's good at it. Too good. I swallowed hard. Then, why tell me this? Ethan's eyes flicked toward the crowd, wary. Because someone needs to know the truth. And honestly, I can't stand her arrogance anymore. She needs to face the consequences eventually. I felt a shiver run down my spine. Consequences, like what? You'll see, he said, a faint smile playing at his lips. I'm not the one who's going to handle it entirely. But let's just say, her world isn't as perfect as she believes. I couldn't stop the surge of excitement mixed with dread. Are you saying? I could. Ethan shrugged again, casual but deliberate. I'm saying, if you play it smart, you can let her facade crumble on its own. Timing is everything. Patience, observation, and the right evidence. That's all it takes. I stared at him, heart hammering. Evidence, you have it? Not yet, he said. But I know where to look. She trusts no one, except those she thinks she controls. That's her weakness. You really hate her that much? I asked. I hate the arrogance, he said bluntly. The way she thinks she's untouchable. It's irritating. He paused, then softened. But I'm family. I worry about her too, in my own messed up way. I just want her to face reality. I nodded slowly, my mind racing. So, if I want to make sure she gets what's coming to her, you'd help. Ethan smirked. I said timing is everything. You don't need me to act directly. But if you know how to watch, wait, and gather the right moments, you'll have her on your own. I swallowed hard, excitement mixing with fear. I never thought I'd get this chance. After everything, after her leaving me, this could actually happen. Careful, Ethan warned. This isn't a game. One wrong move, and it all blows up, your credibility, your reputation, even her anger. She's clever. I know, I admitted. But I can't just sit and do nothing. Watching her succeed while I work myself to dust. No. I have to act. Subtle, careful, but I will act. Ethan studied me, then nodded slowly. Good. That fire in you, don't lose it. Just don't let it consume you entirely. Revenge without control becomes self-destruction. I won't, I said firmly, though my mind was already racing. Every party, every social gathering, every casual conversation she had, I would be paying attention. Watching. Waiting. Collecting. Ethan's smirk faded into something almost serious. One last thing, don't let your anger blind you. This isn't about her. It's about proving your worth, surviving, and, maybe even rising above the mess she created. I nodded, understanding exactly what he meant. I get it. And I will. For me. Not for anyone else. He shrugged, backing away into the crowd. Then good luck, Mark. You'll need it. I watched him disappear and leaned against the balcony, heart racing, mind spinning. Mia's smug face flashed in my memory, and suddenly, all those nights of heartbreak didn't feel like the end. They felt like the beginning. The thrill of impending justice tingled in my veins. The shadows she hid in. I was about to shine a light on them. And maybe, just maybe, she'd finally realize that underestimating me was the biggest mistake of her life. Mark, you've been staring at that screen for hours, Alex said, leaning against my doorframe. Don't tell me you're still obsessing over Mia. I'm not obsessing, I replied sharply, though my hands were shaking slightly. I'm analyzing patterns. Understanding her. Alex raised an eyebrow. Patterns? This is starting to sound like full-on revenge mode. I turned to face him, determination flickering in my eyes. Maybe it is. But it's not blind revenge. It's justice. She hurt me, Alex. She discarded me like I was nothing. She needs to see that actions have consequences. Just, don't lose yourself, he said quietly. I've seen this before. Someone gets hurt, they go too far, and in the end, they hurt themselves more. I swallowed, my mind racing. I know. That's why I'm being careful. Every move, every observation. I won't cross the line. I'll make sure she faces her arrogance without ruining my life in the process. Alex studied me for a moment, then nodded slowly. All right, but promise me you won't let anger blind you. Control is everything. I promise, I said, though a part of me wondered if I could truly keep that promise. Later that night, I met Ethan in a quiet corner of a cafe. Have you found anything yet? He asked, sipping his coffee. I'm starting, I admitted. I've been documenting her behavior, recording little things she says, the way she manipulates people. I want to make sure I'm precise. Ethan nodded approvingly. Good. That's the key. You don't need to exaggerate or force anything. Just let her own actions speak for themselves. I hate her sometimes, I muttered, leaning back in my chair. Even now, I feel this, lingering love that makes me sick. How can I want someone who treated me like I was nothing? He shrugged. That's human, Mark. Love doesn't disappear just because someone's cruel. But that doesn't mean you have to let it control you. I know, I said, running a hand through my hair. It's complicated. I want her to face consequences, but I also don't want to be consumed by hatred. I have to balance it. Strategize. Ethan smiled faintly. That's exactly why I trust you. You're smart enough to play this like a chess game, not a brawl. Observe, collect evidence, wait for the right moment, and then. Then what? I asked, my voice taut with anticipation. Then she falls, on her own, he said simply. Your role isn't to destroy her. It's to make sure the truth comes out. Timing is everything. You've got the advantage, Mark. Use it wisely. I nodded, feeling a thrill of excitement and unease at the same time. I understand. I'll be careful. I won't rush it. Ethan's gaze softened. Just, don't let yourself lose sight of who you are. Revenge without purpose, it eats you alive. I'll keep that in mind, I said. I want justice, not destruction. I want her to learn she can't walk over people without consequence. That's all. Back at my apartment, I set up a small system to track Mia's interactions, conversations, and patterns. Every social event, every encounter she had, documented. My heart pounded every time I saw evidence of her arrogance, her lies, the subtle ways she manipulated people to feel superior. Alex called in the middle of my research. "You're still doing this?" he asked, half exasperated, half amused. "I have to," I said. "If I don't, nothing changes. She gets away with everything, and I can't let that happen." Alex sighed. "Mark. I get it. But be careful. Don't let this consume you entirely. Remember why you're doing this. Not just for revenge, but to prove your worth." "I haven't forgotten," I said. "This isn't about proving anything to her anymore. It's about proving it to myself. I can rise above her cruelty without losing myself." Alex's voice softened. "Then make sure you keep that line clear. Don't let the plan become the obsession. You're better than that." "I know," I said again, though a small part of me worried he was right. This plan, this strategy, it was thrilling. Dangerous. But necessary. Every note I made, every pattern I documented, brought me closer to a future where Mia's arrogance would no longer have power over me. That night, I stared at the notes I'd compiled. Every manipulation, every lie, every smug smile she'd ever flashed me, all recorded, all ready to be revealed in the right moment. My pulse raced, my mind swirling with possibilities. I allowed myself a quiet thought: one day, Mia would see that I wasn't weak, that her rejection didn't define me, and that she couldn't control or underestimate me ever again. And I smiled, just a little, knowing that this plan, this careful, deliberate strategy, would make sure she understood exactly who I had become. I saw her first at the charity gala. Mia, glowing in a designer dress, smiling at everyone like she owned the room. I stayed in the shadows, observing, noting every laugh that wasn't genuine, every compliment she demanded. "She's impressive," someone whispered near me. I smirked quietly. "Not as much as she thinks." Later, I approached a small group she often flattered herself with. "I heard about the Johnson project," I said casually, catching their attention. Some deadlines were mishandled. Surprising, given how organized Mia claims to be. A few eyebrows rose. Whispers followed. I slipped away before anyone could pin me down, heart pounding with the thrill of the first ripple I'd sent through her carefully curated world. Alex called the next day. "You're actually doing it," he said. "This is bold." "I'm careful," I said, trying to sound casual. "Small, subtle nudges. Nothing that's overtly malicious, just enough to plant seeds of doubt." "Mark, just don't lose sight of why you're doing this," he warned. "The line between justice and obsession is thin." "I know," I said. "I'm walking it. Every step is calculated." By the following week, the whispers began to spread. A client mentioned missed deadlines, a coworker commented on her attitude, and I stayed silent in meetings, letting her own arrogance trip her. I watched her reaction closely, brief flashes of confusion, moments where her smile faltered for a second. Ethan messaged me one evening, "She's cracking. Don't push too fast. Let it unfold naturally." I typed back, "I know. Patience. But it's satisfying to see her unsteady." Mark. Mia's voice cut through the office the next morning. I turned to find her glare locked on me. "Can I talk to you for a minute?" "Sure," I said, standing, keeping my expression neutral. She closed the door behind us. "I don't know what you're trying to do, but people are talking. About me. About things you've said." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh. And what exactly am I saying? Her face flushed, a hint of real anger, or was it fear, breaking through? Don't play innocent. You know exactly what I mean. I'm only commenting on what's visible, I said evenly. People notice when leadership is flawed. Or careless. Or arrogant. Observations aren't lies, Mia. Her eyes narrowed. You're cruel. I never thought you'd go this far. I shook my head. I'm not cruel. I'm ensuring consequences for actions. You left me, humiliated me, and underestimated me. I'm simply showing that nothing goes unchecked. Mia's lips pressed into a thin line. You think this proves something? That you're better than me? I think it proves that actions have weight, I said calmly. That arrogance and deception catch up to people eventually. She turned abruptly and left, slamming the door. I felt my pulse quicken, not from fear, but excitement. The first real crack in her armor. Later, Ethan joined me at a cafe. Saw the sparks today, he said, grinning. She's unsettled. Even she doesn't know why. I sipped my coffee, smirking. It's satisfying. But, part of me wonders, am I crossing a line? You're not, Ethan said. You're reclaiming power that was taken from you. Just, keep your control. Don't let emotion override strategy. I nodded slowly. Control, right. I have to remember that. I can't let anger dictate me. Every move must be calculated. The next few days were a delicate dance. I made small comments in meetings, redirected attention to subtle mistakes she'd made, and praised others in ways that highlighted her shortcomings. Every time her confident smile wavered, a rush of vindication coursed through me. One evening, I ran into her at a rooftop event. She avoided my gaze at first, then forced a tight smile. Mark, she said, voice brittle. You're everywhere lately. Just observant, I said lightly. I think it's important to notice patterns. People tend to slip when they're not careful. She clenched her fists. And what about loyalty? Trust? Did you ever value that? I valued it, I admitted. But you discarded it. I'm simply reflecting your own behavior back at you. Nothing more. Her eyes flashed, a dangerous mix of anger and fear. You're relentless, she whispered. And you're, finally human, I said quietly. Perfect facades don't last forever, Mia. She didn't reply. She just walked away, and I felt a shiver of triumph. Not because I had hurt her, but because I'd made her confront reality. Ethan texted me later, she's showing cracks. Keep watching. Don't interfere yet. Let her unravel herself. I stared at the message, heart pounding. She's unraveling, I whispered to myself. And I'm finally seeing the beginning of justice. Even now, a part of me ached, remnants of love mingling with satisfaction. But that ache was quieter now, replaced by resolve. Every subtle strike, every whispered doubt, it was all part of the plan. And I knew, deep down, that soon, the world she had built on lies and arrogance would start to collapse, piece by piece. I got the call from Ethan just as I was leaving work. His voice was low, almost amused. It's happening tonight. Are you ready? I gripped my phone tightly. Ready? I've been waiting for this for months. But, are you sure it's the right time? He chuckled softly. It's perfect. She won't see it coming. Her friends, her colleagues, everyone. The truth will spill. You just need to watch. I nodded, a knot of anticipation and unease forming in my stomach. Watching, yeah, I can do that. By evening, I was at the private gathering Ethan had orchestrated. Mia was there, radiant as ever, laughing at some joke I didn't hear. But beneath that laugh, I could already sense the tension I'd helped set in motion. Ethan leaned in beside me, You see her? I do, I said. She doesn't suspect a thing. Good. Sit back. Let's watch the facade crumble. Minutes passed. Then, subtly, Ethan began. A casual comment here, a quietly whispered story there. Slowly, the whispers spread through the room. Mia's confident mask faltered imperceptibly at first, then more visibly. What's going on? She asked a friend, her voice slightly sharp. Why are you all laughing? Her friend looked confused, glancing at her phone. Didn't you tell us about the contracts at work? The deadlines you missed? Mia's eyes widened. That's not how it happened. I felt a small, guilty twist in my chest, but I pushed it down. I had waited too long for this to hesitate now. One by one, more of her lies came out. Stories Ethan leaked painted a picture of arrogance, manipulation, and selfishness I had long suspected but could never prove alone. Mark, Claire whispered beside me, gripping my arm lightly. This is intense. Are you okay? I nodded, forcing a calm I didn't feel. I am. It's necessary. She needs to face this. Alex appeared beside us, eyes wide but approving. You've grown a lot, man. Look at her. This is your justice. Mia's face turned red, then pale. Her hands trembled slightly as she tried to regain control. I can explain. You don't understand. Explain what? Someone asked, raising an eyebrow. That you've been dishonest. That you manipulated everyone for your own benefit. Mia stuttered, panic creeping into her voice. It's complicated. I didn't mean to. Complicated doesn't erase actions, I said softly, but firmly. You hurt people. You misled people. And you rejected me without reason. Actions have consequences, Mia. She looked at me, shock flashing in her eyes, and for a moment, I saw a flicker of the girl I had loved. Then it was gone, replaced by fear and humiliation. I didn't know it would, she muttered, unable to finish the sentence. Don't bother, Ethan said from across the room. The truth speaks for itself. No need for excuses. I watched her crumble under the weight of exposure. Every smile forced, every carefully practiced charm, it failed. Her friends whispered, colleagues shook their heads, and she realized the very foundation of her social world was shaking. I'm sorry. Mia suddenly exclaimed, voice cracking. I never meant to hurt anyone. Please believe me. I felt a pang in my chest, a faint echo of the love I had once carried for her. But it was fleeting, replaced quickly by the satisfaction of seeing her finally confront reality. Alex leaned close. It's harsh, isn't it? Yeah, I admitted. But necessary. She needed to see that what she did, what she thought she could get away with, doesn't just vanish. Claire's voice was quieter, more reflective. I get it, Mark. But, make sure this doesn't change you. Don't let it make you someone cruel. You're not here to destroy her, just to let her see the truth. I nodded slowly. I know. That's why I stayed quiet for so long. Every move was calculated. Every moment deliberate. This is justice, not vengeance. Mia's knees buckled slightly, and she sank into a chair, covering her face with her hands. The room was silent for a moment, the gravity of the revelation settling over everyone. I stepped closer, speaking gently but with authority. Mia, this isn't about punishment. It's about accountability. You can't control people or circumstances through lies and manipulation. This is the mirror you've been avoiding. Her trembling hands dropped, and she looked up at me. I didn't know. You did, I said softly. You always did. But now, you have to live with it. Ethan clapped quietly from the back. Mark, you've handled this beautifully. She's facing the consequences without anyone needing to act violently or unfairly. That's your power. Subtle, precise, effective. I exhaled, feeling a mixture of triumph and exhaustion. I never wanted her to suffer endlessly. Just, to understand. To realize that actions matter. Mia's voice was barely audible. I understand. I'm sorry for everything. Apologies are fine, I said. But they don't erase the past. They just mark a new beginning. Learn from it. Change from it. That's all I ask. I stepped back, letting the room absorb the tension. People whispered quietly among themselves, some offering hesitant support, some shocked into silence. Mia sat frozen, humbled for the first time in her life. Alex put a hand on my shoulder. Look at you. You stayed true to yourself and didn't lose your control. That's growth. Claire nodded. Exactly. You showed justice without cruelty. That's hard to do. I looked at Mia one last time, her face pale and vulnerable. For the first time, I didn't feel the sharp sting of heartbreak. I felt closure. Satisfaction tempered with wisdom. I had grown. I had survived. I had reclaimed my power. Ethan leaned in with a quiet grin. This is only the beginning. But it's a strong start. I nodded, a small smile on my lips. It's enough for now. Let the consequences unfold naturally. I've done my part. The rest is life. And as I stepped away from the scene, a sense of calm settled over me. The storm of betrayal and heartbreak had passed. I was no longer the boy discarded for being too poor. I was someone stronger, someone wiser, someone who had learned the fine line between justice and cruelty, and had walked it perfectly. I met Alex at our usual cafe the morning after everything had unfolded. He looked at me with a mixture of curiosity and admiration. So, she's really down for the count, huh? I sipped my coffee slowly, watching the steam curl upward. She is. The arrogance is gone. The pride, the smugness, all vanished. It's strange to see her like that. Alex leaned back, shaking his head. I've never seen you like this, either. Calm, collected, powerful. You've really changed, Mark. I had to, I admitted quietly. For months, I let her rejection define me. My heartbreak, my obsession, it consumed me. But now, I've realized something. It wasn't about her. It was about me. About reclaiming my life, my self-respect. Claire joined us then, carrying her usual cheerful energy. I watched everything from the sidelines, she said softly. You didn't just handle her downfall, you handled yourself. That's the real victory. I looked at her and smiled faintly. I'm starting to feel it, too. That sense of control, maybe. Closure. But it's weird. There's still a part of me that remembers how much I loved her, how much I wanted her to care. Alex shrugged. That's normal. You can't erase love overnight. But it's not controlling you anymore, right? No, I said firmly. It's memory, nothing more. I don't hate her, and I don't crave revenge anymore. Seeing her humbled, it's enough. Justice doesn't have to mean cruelty. Claire nodded approvingly. And that's growth. You survived betrayal without losing yourself. That's rare. Later that week, I ran into Mia at a small work function. She looked different, humbled, almost fragile. She avoided eye contact at first, then hesitated, glancing at me nervously. Mark, she started, her voice quiet. I raised a hand gently. Mia. You don't have to say anything. I saw everything. You know what happened. Her hands fidgeted with the hem of her dress. I'm sorry. For everything. For hurting you. For being arrogant, selfish. I nodded slowly. I know. And I don't need apologies to feel vindicated. Seeing you face reality, it was enough. I've grown beyond what we were. I've moved on, in ways I never imagined. Her eyes filled slightly, and she looked away. I wish I had treated you differently. Maybe, I said softly. But wishing won't change the past. What matters is what we do now, with the understanding we gained. She didn't respond, just nodded, almost imperceptibly. I felt a pang of something, compassion, perhaps, but it was controlled. Balanced. I wasn't hers to hurt anymore, and I didn't need to reclaim any lost affection. After she left, I met Alex and Claire outside. Alex smirked. Well. Closure achieved. I laughed lightly. Yes. And strangely, liberating. I feel lighter, like I can breathe without that constant weight of heartbreak. Claire smiled warmly. You're standing taller, Mark. Not because you toppled her, but because you reclaimed yourself. I nodded, letting their words sink in. It's true. I've learned that power isn't about making someone else fall, it's about standing strong when they do. About choosing who you are, not letting anyone else define you. Alex clapped me on the shoulder. And that's exactly what you did. Heartbroken boy to strong man, all in a few months. I'm proud of you. I chuckled. Thanks, Alex. And thank you, Claire, for helping me keep perspective. Watching me, questioning me, reminding me to stay human. Claire winked. It was my pleasure. Someone had to make sure you didn't become a monster in the process. We laughed, and for the first time in months, I felt fully present in the moment, unburdened by the past, unshackled from old pain. Later, alone in my apartment, I reflected on everything. The betrayal, the obsession, the plans, the subtle strikes, and finally, the exposure. I thought about Mia, her fall, her regret, her humbled state. And I realized something important, I didn't need to forgive her. Not really. Her regret was enough. The universe had done its part, and I had done mine without losing myself. I poured a glass of water, watching the sunlight hit the table. I came so far, I murmured to myself. From a boy broken by rejection to someone who understands himself. Someone who knows the difference between revenge and justice, between love and obsession. A text pinged from Ethan, she's learning, and so are you. Well done. I smiled faintly. Thanks, I typed back. We both grew. Then a message from Alex, dinner tonight? Celebrate the victory, your growth, not hers. I laughed softly. Absolutely. I'll be there. Sitting back, I realized the truth, life was moving forward. Mia's downfall wasn't a triumph of cruelty, it was a mirror reflecting what happens when arrogance and selfishness meet consequence. And my own journey, it was far more meaningful. I had learned to endure pain, channel anger, and emerge stronger without losing compassion. I still remembered the hurt, the longing, the nights I'd spent obsessing over her. But now, those memories were tempered with wisdom. They weren't chains, they were lessons. I whispered to myself, almost like a promise, I will never let anyone make me feel small again. I will rise above, always. And for the first time in a long while, I felt peace. I saw her standing outside the cafe, hesitant, her eyes searching for me. Mia. For a moment, I felt the old pang of longing, but it passed instantly. I had grown too much to be swayed. Mark, she called softly, almost pleading. I walked up slowly, keeping my expression calm. Mia. I know what happened was bad, she said, biting her lip. And I regret it. I shouldn't have treated you the way I did. Can we start over? I studied her for a moment, noting the sincerity in her eyes, but also the selfishness that had never truly left. Mia, I've thought about this. A lot. She stepped closer. I want a chance to make things right. Please. I shook my head gently. No. I've moved past the need for revenge, past the need to prove myself to you. That chapter is closed. I've learned that my worth isn't tied to anyone else's approval. Her eyes widened slightly. You're turning me away. Yes, I said firmly, yet without malice. I'm choosing myself now. Choosing my path. Not because I don't care about the past, but because I respect myself enough not to let it control my future. She looked down, swallowing hard. I didn't realize. I thought. You thought you could come back and it would matter, I said softly. But it doesn't. You had your chance, and now life is teaching you lessons you ignored before. I don't need to be part of your redemption. Mia stayed silent, her shoulders slumping. For the first time, I saw genuine humility, not just regret. And yet, it wasn't my responsibility to soothe her anymore. I felt a hand on my shoulder. Claire's. You're doing the right thing, she said quietly. Walking away isn't weakness, it's strength. You've earned your peace. Alex nodded beside her. Exactly. You've grown, Mark. Don't let old ties pull you back into someone else's drama. I smiled at them both, grateful. Thanks. I couldn't have come this far without your support. You reminded me who I am, and who I can be. Claire grinned. And look at you now, calm, confident, and completely untouchable by past mistakes. I laughed softly. Untouchable, yeah. I like that. Mia finally spoke again, voice trembling. I thought maybe we could. I understand, I said gently. But my focus is forward. I can forgive, Mia, but I cannot return. My life isn't about reliving the past. It's about building my future. I hope you can learn from everything you've experienced, but I won't be the person to guide you anymore. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears, and I felt a small tug at my heart. But it wasn't longing anymore. It was understanding. She had her lessons to learn, I had mine. I see, she whispered. I guess this is goodbye, then. Yes, I said softly, and this time, it felt final. Goodbye, Mia. I wish you the best, but from a distance. And remember, actions always have consequences. This is one you'll never forget. She nodded, finally turning away. I watched her leave, feeling the last echoes of pain fade. It wasn't triumph over her, it was triumph over my own doubts and insecurities. Alex exhaled beside me. You did it, Mark. Truly. You let go without letting bitterness rule you. I nodded, feeling the weight lift from my shoulders. It's freedom, I said. Freedom from heartbreak, from obsession, from proving myself to anyone who never deserved it. I've chosen my path, and it feels right. Claire smiled. And the path is wide open. Opportunities, growth, happiness, all waiting for you. You've earned it. I looked around at my friends, my allies, the people who saw me through the darkest times. Thank you. For believing in me when I doubted myself. For reminding me that justice isn't always about revenge, it's about integrity and self-respect. Alex clapped me lightly on the back. That's exactly it. You've done it the right way. Karma served, heart intact, and future secured. Well done. I breathed deeply, feeling the cool evening air fill my lungs. I can finally move forward, I whispered. Not out of anger, not out of pain, but out of understanding and strength. I've learned who I am, and I'll never let anyone else define me again. Claire nudged me playfully. Now go. Live that life, Mark. Show the world what you're made of. I smiled, feeling a sense of calm, resolve, and excitement for what's ahead. I will, I said. And this time, I do it for me. As I walked away, leaving the past behind, I felt the final piece of closure settle into place. Mia's lessons, Ethan's insight, Alex and Claire's support, they all led me here. And now, I was free, stronger, wiser, and ready to face whatever came next, entirely on my own terms. For the first time in years, I didn't look back. I walked into the office on Monday morning with a lightness I hadn't felt in years. The chaos of the past months, Mia, betrayal, obsession, revenge, felt like a distant storm, leaving behind calm and clarity. Claire greeted me at the entrance with her usual bright smile. "Good morning, Mark. You're looking different. Calm. Happy." I laughed softly. "I guess I am. Feels strange, in a good way. Free, almost." She tilted her head, studying me. "You're glowing. Honestly, I'm impressed with how you handled everything. Most people would have crumbled or lost themselves. I'm lucky to have had Alex and you," I admitted. "I couldn't have navigated this without some guidance." Claire smirked. "Oh, please. You did most of the work yourself. I just reminded you to keep your humanity intact." I chuckled. "Well, it worked. I've realized that strength isn't about crushing others, it's about standing firm, knowing who you are, and moving forward." She nodded thoughtfully. "And moving forward is exactly what you're doing. Speaking of which, any new plans? Professionally or personally?" I paused, thinking. Professionally, I want to expand my skills, take on challenges I avoided before. Personally, I want to surround myself with people who matter. Real connections, not distractions or illusions. Claire's eyes softened. "I like that. Real connections. I think you deserve that more than anyone I know." I felt warmth at her words, something subtle, something that hinted at, maybe more than friendship. "Thanks, Claire. That means a lot. You've been a constant, even when I doubted myself." She smiled, a gentle teasing sparkle in her eyes. "I've always known you'd find your way. I just made sure you didn't get lost entirely." Alex appeared then, grinning widely. "Ah, there you two. Plotting a secret takeover of the world without me?" I laughed, shaking my head. "Not yet. Just enjoying the calm after everything." Alex nodded, sensing the shift. "You've come a long way, Mark. From the guy who got crushed by love and betrayal to this confident, forward-looking man. It suits you." "Thanks," I said, feeling a twinge of pride. "I've learned a lot about myself. About resilience, patience, and self-respect. And I've learned that the past is only as powerful as we let it be." Claire leaned closer, lowering her voice playfully. "So, no lingering thoughts about Mia?" I shook my head firmly. "No. Her chapter is closed. Lessons learned, karma served, and I'm free. I don't hate her, but she no longer has a place in my life. That's the key difference between growth and obsession." Claire's lips curved into a small smile. "And you've clearly grown. Strong, self-aware, and ready for what's next." I felt a sense of calm settle over me, a rare clarity that balanced reflection and excitement. Exactly. What's next is building something real, friendships, work I'm proud of, perhaps, someone who respects me fully. Her eyes twinkled knowingly. "Someone like me?" I raised an eyebrow, smiling faintly. "Maybe. Or maybe someone like you will be a reminder of what's possible when we choose to surround ourselves with people who matter." She laughed softly. "I'll take that. And I'll be here, cheering you on, every step of the way." We walked into the office together, side by side, a subtle energy between us, something comforting, something hopeful. Alex trailed behind, laughing and chatting about trivial office gossip, but I barely noticed. My focus was clear. Life had opened up, and I was ready to step forward with intention and self-respect. Later, I found a quiet moment at my desk, looking out the window at the city below. The memories of betrayal and heartbreak flickered briefly, but they no longer controlled me. They were reminders, lessons carved into my life. And now, I had the power to write my own story. I whispered to myself, almost as a promise, I choose myself. I choose my future. I choose happiness, clarity, and strength. Claire's laughter floated from the next desk, light and familiar. Alex's voice followed with some ridiculous joke. And I realized. I was home, in my own life, in my own story, surrounded by people who mattered. The past had shaped me, but it would not define me. I had survived betrayal, embraced justice without cruelty, and grown into someone I respected. And for the first time in a long while, I felt a quiet thrill, a deep certainty, this was just the beginning. I sat on the balcony, the city lights stretching endlessly before me, and let the memories settle. Everything that had happened, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the revenge, it all seemed like a strange, vivid dream now. Alex appeared beside me, holding 2 mugs of coffee. "You've been quiet," he said, handing me one. "Thinking about everything?" I took the mug and nodded, feeling the warmth seep into my hands. "Yeah. It's strange. I went through so much pain, so much anger, and now, looking back, I see it differently. I see lessons." "Lessons?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yeah," I said, swirling the coffee. "I learned that no one else's arrogance or cruelty should define me. That the power I have over my own life is more important than the power I think I have over others." Alex nodded thoughtfully. "And Mia?" I let out a small laugh, bitter and reflective. "Mia, she's learned the hard way. I don't feel joy in her pain anymore. That part of me is gone. But I can't deny she's humbled. She sees herself now, clearly. And maybe, finally, she understands what she lost." Claire joined us then, smiling softly. "You look at peace, Mark. Like you finally stopped carrying all the weight." I smiled at her, grateful. "I am. It didn't happen overnight, but I got here. And a lot of it is because of both of you. You reminded me who I am, what I'm capable of, and that I don't have to fight alone." Claire leaned back, sipping her tea. "We just helped you see it. You did all the hard work yourself. The late nights, the planning, the restraint, it's all you." I laughed lightly. I used to think revenge would satisfy me. That it would be sweet justice. And it was, but not in the way I imagined. The real satisfaction came from growing stronger, from not letting her define my self-worth, and from seeing myself rise above the chaos. Alex smirked. "So, revenge isn't about ruining someone else, it's about proving to yourself that you're unbreakable?" I nodded slowly. "Exactly. And in that process, I realized something important: karma isn't something we force. It's something life naturally serves when people show their true selves. I didn't need to push it, it unfolded perfectly. Mia's choices caught up with her. And I became someone I can respect." Claire's eyes softened. "And you did it without losing your heart. That's rare." "I think that's the part that matters most," I said quietly. "I can look at the past without bitterness, and I can face the future without fear. I've built trust with people who deserve it, like you too. And I've let go of people who never did." Alex nudged me playfully. "So, any thoughts about what comes next? Life, love, work?" I smiled, thinking of possibilities. "I'll take each step carefully. Professionally, I want to push myself further, take risks I avoided. Personally, I want deep connections, genuine friendships, maybe even something more with someone who truly sees me. I'm not closing myself off, but I'm no longer chasing validation from the wrong people. Claire reached over and gave my hand a gentle squeeze. That's beautiful, Mark. You've truly grown. I looked at both of them, feeling gratitude and a quiet joy. I couldn't have done it without you. You reminded me that support and loyalty matter more than pride or revenge. That sometimes the strongest victories are internal, not external. I leaned back, taking a deep breath of the night air. I'll never forget the heartbreak, the anger, or the lessons. Mia's story will always be a cautionary tale, a reminder that arrogance and cruelty carry consequences. But my story is about resilience, growth, and self-respect. That's the true victory. Alex smiled knowingly. And now you're free. Ready to face life on your own terms. I nodded, a peaceful smile spreading across my face. Exactly. I've learned, I've grown, and I'm ready. The past shaped me, but it doesn't control me. And for the first time in a long while, I feel complete. Claire laughed softly. To new beginnings, Mark. And to choosing the right path for yourself. I lifted my coffee mug. To new beginnings. We clinked mugs, and I knew this was more than a toast. It was a promise, to myself, to my growth, and to a life unshackled by past pain. The night was quiet, the city alive, and I felt the bittersweet satisfaction of a journey completed. I had survived betrayal, navigated revenge, embraced lessons, and emerged stronger. And now, I was ready to live, fully and freely, knowing that karma, justice, and growth had all found their perfect balance.